Okay, so we're going to implement a notification system. We're going to use this ngx-toastr ex here. So we'll install it with npm. And then we need to do a npm audit fix. So now I already have Angular animations installed. So the first thing I need to do is copy toast CS into my project. So if I look at my angular.json, I should be able to add it under styles. Node modules, ngxr. Still doesn't show it, which is bizarre. Maybe it's that. Okay. We need to add it to the ng module. Which is in my app module. So down here under imports, we want to have toastr module .for root. And we want to import toastr module from an ngxr toaster. So now to use this, we'll just do this on my app component HTML. And in my TypeScript, when we do an init, I just want to do a new private toaster service, which is a toaster service. And I should be able to do a this.toaster service.success hello world with the title of toaster is fun. Yeah, I could have done it that way as well, I believe. Okay, now we can give it a test. I never got toast here, so let's log out, log in. So is it in my sources? So sources, Here's my toaster module. I don't even see it. Yeah, I don't think it's finding the CSS file. Let me try a log out and a login again. Refuse to apply style. Looper Duper, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions what I'm working on, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. Maybe try it the import way. Well, the thing is, you can add it to your Angular JSON here, or I can just do it in my styles CSS. Try it again. There. That worked great. Okay, so now we have a notification module. Let's go ahead and change here. And I want to put my I look here at my styles, CSS, done, where I'm changing my room. I'll say that this one can get as small as a 2 and it can grow to a 3. This one stays at a 1. The flex chat can grow to a 2 and a 1 with no percentages. So song queued. We want to make it a 1 and a 3. So requesting a song, we still want that to be 100. % or like 60% is good. So now here we could do like a Miley Cyrus party, and we could request and do a 10 and say pixels and add song. And it's been added here to song queued. which doesn't have enough space here. So let's reverse those. Yeah, we use Toastr in other applications I work on. I haven't used Toastr myself, so this will be new for me. So here we could request a new song like AC/DC, Hell's Bells. We don't like it. It needs to be QB down here. It needs to be Q down here. I speak well. And then the styles for it. When you took those away, it worked much better, right? Because song queued, you want this to be 100%. Like that. That works for me. Okay? So now, when we request a song, it's in a different component called shared song queued here. You should have a search YouTube component. Request song here. So you want to say if my search snippet, this dot search snippet is equal to undefined, or this dot search snippet is equal to null, or this dot search snippet is equal to nothing, then we want to do a where did that go? Okay. A notification here, so we need to have my toaster service called private toaster service, which is a TOASTR service. And I'm going to do a this dot toaster service dot, and we can have a success, an error, an info, a show, and a warning. So I'll do this as a warning, and this is going to say no search terms were input. Please try again. And we're going to say that this is called invalid search. Okay. Just to double check that everything is working how we want. Where's my front end? If I try to request it, it should invalid search. Okay, when we do a new search here, and I want to look for motorsport, Let's say I click add song to queue. I want to say if my this.application users room currencies, no, I need to get the appropriate currency. So it's a const correct currency equals my this.room service dot application user room currency dot filter x, where my x dot currency dot id is equal to my search result dot application user currency id. Of the first one. And now I want to say if my correct currency does not equal to undefined and my correct currency does not equal to null, then I need to make sure that my well, now what you need to do is if my search result dot quantity wagered is greater than my correct currency dot quantity, then we want to do a this dot toaster service dot fail error. And this is going to say you do not have enough. And then we want to add in the search result dot the correct currency of my currency dot name for this action. And then we also want to do a this dot search results is clear. Otherwise, you want to do this like that. Looks good. So now if I try to request here, well, let's go back to toaster is fun. And we can get rid of my toaster service in here now and here. So now when I request a song here for like motorsport, and I request 5300 pixels, you do not have enough pixels for this action. We want to say you only have plus my correct currency dot quantity plus my available. Okay. Okay. That looks good. The next notification that we want to have is when we request something here. I add 10 and its type. It adds it here. And I can remove in my queue okay. We wanted to, on my song queued, remove the length. And we'll add back in Miley Cyrus Party in the USA for 5. Now, if you invoke a add song to queue, I also want to say we want to do an alert here of my search result dot application user room currency ID. Okay, perfect. So I want to say, if this now, is there a way to do this in JS? I want to test if a string is an empty GUID in TypeScript. And we could just do this. So if this is equal to this, then that, or if it is search result dot application user room currency is equal to undefined, or my search result dot application is equal to null, then we want to do this dot toaster service dot notification. Which will be a warning, is you must select a currency type to place a song request. Otherwise, you're going to do all this stuff. Okay. So now if I search for Miley Cyrus party, and I put 10 and I just wager, it should say you must select a currency type. Good. The next one is on my queue. Toaster service. Open DJ Radio can make breakfast too. Woot! That's awesome. A Fallen Hope says string dot is empty or white space. Is that available in TypeScript? I thought that was a C# thing. So in here we have an add quantity to song queued. It's not this one. We can get rid of this one. And the first thing I want to say is if my song queue dot So when you look at your add quantity to song queued, you're passing in the entire element, which is a song queued. Just a second. So application user room currency.currency.name. So here you're getting your application user room currency. And I want to say if this is equal to undefined, or if this is equal to null, then we're going to fire my toaster service. Which we need to add up here and inject it as a private toaster service, toaster service. Be careful in your orders of testing undefined and nulls. I think undefined is to go first. I've had JS errors because of testing for something that came before undefined. Okay, thank you. I will do that. And I want this to do a warning which says you must select a type of currency to wager on a song in the queue. Please try again. And this is going to say select currency. What's going on with this? Should be that. So if I look at this and we did another Miley Cyrus party, and I add a 10 in here, and I add a pixels. And now here I say, you must select a type of currency to wager on a song in the queue. Now I want to say, else we're going to go to the next little bit, which is here. We're going to make a request, and I want to say, if my application user room currency dot quantity is, if my song queue dot, hey Q Marco 99, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them into the chat. My quantity wagered here is greater than my current quantity, then we want to do something. Otherwise, I want to make my request. Looks like when I auto format, it's using the double quotes. And now what I want to make sure of is when you do this, we want to say, you do not have enough, and then it's going to be the application user room currency dot currency name for this action. You have, and then we're going to do a plus here with my application user room currency dot quantity available. And we're going to say not enough currency. So now if we have Miley in here, with 10 on it, and then in here I want to wager 5,400 pixels. Do not have enough pixels. You have 379 available. If I did 0, it's going to try to let me do it. So we need some validation on that. We want to say, if my song queue dot quantity wagered is less than or equal to 0, then we want to do a error. Else we'll nest it and keep going. Then here we want to have a toaster warning, which is you must wager more than 0 on a song in the queue. Please try again. Not enough. Wagered. We'll also want to add in a minimum wager and minimum increase. We need to do the same on my song queued. And here we can say, else if my search result dot quantity wagered is less than or equal to 0, then we want to do something else. And this needs to have a select currency on it. And this one here needs to say you must wager more than 0 to place a song request. Wager currency. And this will say not enough currency for the title. Okay, and now I want to add nothing, Schmeckles, and I'll fire it. You must select a type of currency. This time, else if my search result dot quantity wagered is equal to undefined, or my search result dot quantity wagered is equal to null, or it's equal to 0. And we need to do the same on Q. Okay. Beautiful. And it added it. Now, we got a little bit of a problem here, which is that if I added 50 pixels to this, it should bump this up to 150, and it does, so it's right. We want to look at our currencies here, and I need to be able to see their weight. And I wish I could make this input box stretch that whole width. RU use angular universal. I apologize, Zachariah Wasim. I don't understand. I'm sorry. So do we have any other notifications in here? On songs queued, I'd really like to give that first one and the second one some spacing. So if I look at shared, this one, I can add this stuff into Q, and my fields are song name, and weighted value. We'll try that. There it is. Now I gave it a little buffer there. I could give it a little bit more buffer on this one. Top, right, bottom, left. Okay, that's good. It's like it messed up the height once I did that. The line, how it lined it up. And I'll do this as 10 pixels and I'll add it. No, it was better before. Okay. So I think we're good for validations on the front side now for rooms. So we could either continue to work on the styling for playlists, currencies, account, and cart, or I could start to implement some additional room features such as locking the room, room code to join if it's not public. So let's go work in playlists next. And I want to use a shared, so I'm queued as my guide here. And on my component now, we're going to have this new button, I think, at the top, which we're going to say is a button like this, and it's going to say create new playlist. And in this, we need this to go to a create playlist function. Now, if our playlists are currently there, then what I need to do, I don't care about, yeah, we do want this one, just in case it's not there. And now what I'm going to have is I'm going to have this table with an ng container. And we're going to say that it's called a data source for mat elevation Z28. And I'm going to say that this one is called the playlist name. Which is not a link, it's just going to be this one. I don't think you need to make this a link anymore because we want to move this one to be there and this to be playlist name. I don't think we need that anymore, and I can just have it as a definition with no A. Okay. We also need to have the definition at the bottom, which is here. With the displayed columns. This is a element.id and an element.playlist. And then all of this we can comment out. So on the front, I need to have a displayed columns, which is a string array, which has the first one as a, hey, thank you for that cheer of one there, Snipe2G. How are you doing? Thank you for the support. We're going to say that this one is called playlist name. And then we also want to have another 2. Sorry, I'm poor. I appreciate it. Okay. We'll add in this view child for the paginator. Oh, not the paginator on this. We don't want that one. I'm sorry. We want the data source, which is one of these. Which then when we get our playlists, I'm going to do a this.datasource.data equals this.playlist. Banville cheered 4. Thank you. Welcome back, Banville. Welcome back to the channel. Think we're good there. We have everything now except for this create playlist, which needs to be a create playlist, which is like that. This. And this one we want to do, we need logic to test if we can create a new playlist. If not, navigate to the cart. Displayed columns. Like that. You appreciate that he's poor? He appreciates the contributions. That's right, Fallen Hope. No, I'm second, says Snipe2G. Oh, I'm digging it. Digging the battles. You guys want to play a game? Snipe2G cheered 100. Now I'm first. Awesome. Thank you, Snipe2G. So what are you working on? Banville asked. Some kind of a multi-DJ site. It's a site where you can listen to music with the group, and then you put in different requests, and you can upvote and downvote them with a currency. So, and it works for, it's like if you join, like you sign in with any of the social media providers, you'll automatically get a room which other people can join, similar to Twitch, or you can lock it out. So this started with my buddy's 30th birthday when there were like 9 of us in a van and we were like fighting over the music. And then also I saw it at a bar where like people were like requesting things on top of each other, and I went, oh, this is an app and I could use this in my channel. So that's just about completed, to be honest. This is displayed columns. which is now there. So now when I look at playlists, it looks nice. We're going to need to have the other rows, which is the first one here is selected. We'll say is default. We can get rid of the link. And add that in there as is selected of my element. And then the last one here is called delete playlist, which is going to be a table header doesn't have anything. And on this one, we won't have a router link, I'll have a button, which looks like this. Which will be an accent. And we want this to be a delete playlist. And I want that to have the ID here, which is my element.id. Additionally, we need to have an input box at the top here which says maximum number of playlists, and then we'll add that in here as well. So we have is selected and delete playlist, which we need to add here. Can you play Rockefeller Street? I don't know what that means. And now we can see we have a delete playlist. Snipe2G, thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, welcome to the channel. You know, pop them into the chat. Yeah, with the request, he's nailed it right on there. Okay, this thing, it is a link, but it doesn't look like it. So we want to do this again then like this, as an A, with the router link, and then a /A. Cool. So the next one is playlist, but we also need to get my maximum number of playlists here. So if I look at my Angular material typography, I can add in this mat3H here. Like that. And then, cool. Now I need to have the number. So if I look at playlists, I should have a room service in here. No, your hub service should have it. So you want to get your number of playlists. And I want to say that's equal to my this.hubservice.application-user.playlist count. and then number of playlists. And then in here, we'll add a button which says we don't need that, just like that. Thank you, Fallen Hope. This one, when I look at create new playlists, it probably shouldn't let me. Because it needs to do some work. And on my playlist.css, I can add this in, which is my playlist name and is selected. Okay, this is the next one, but we need to hook up this router link. So if I look for navigate, we have this, which uses a router. So back in playlists, I need to inject here a private router, which is a router. And then when we do this, I want to say if this.hubservice.applicationuser.playlist count is less than playlists.count length, then we'll do this. And I actually want to do it the other way. So if the playlist count is greater than or equal to, then we want to navigate to the cart. Else you want to navigate to your playlist of your just one. And here you need to have a cart service. Which goes here. This cart service add weird. Add purchasable item to cart. We need to have a const purchasable playlist is a purchasable item, which is equal to ID, a name, a type, a quantity. So we have a name, a type, a quantity, a unit cost and a line cost, and then a ID. And I need to add a note in here which says to do this data needs to come from the back end. And this is going to be called playlist. The type will be a 1. The quantity will be 1. The unit cost will be 1. And the line cost will be 1 times 1. And the ID will just be nothing. And then we can add that to my cart. And this one I want to say, if my this.playlists.count.length is less than or equal to 1, and then we're going to say here, we want to add in the toaster service. And we're going to say this.toaster-service.error. You cannot delete. You must have at least one playlist. And this will say cannot delete. Otherwise, you want to do my delete and then a request. When I look back over here and run it and look at playlists and do create playlist, it took me to the cart. And I want to add here a notification which is called success. And we're going to say added one playlist to your cart. And this is going to say added to cart. Lovely. Now when we click delete playlist, it won't let me do it, and it won't let me add a playlist here because I haven't checked it out yet, but we can edit it. So this will be the next one. When I look at a playlist component, we have this outdated table structure, which we need to update. Additionally, we have currencies, which I want to make that so you can review them but not edit them unless you are the owner. You have an account page, which is pretty straightforward, and then our cart, which we need to work on. My cart, maybe I should make it store that in the cart data store in local storage. So in here, we have a label called playlist name. And I believe we have a different way of doing this now. So if I look at a chat component, Open this up. I have an input box here, so this one needs to be a mat form field, like this. And then this thing we're going to call a playlist name. And we want to say that that one's required. Like that. Who is that? Asuna978, thank you so much for that follow. If you have any questions what I'm working on, please don't hesitate to put them into the chat. We also have this checkbox, which I need to change. Hello, hello. And now these two buttons, which is this. There's no disabled on this one. And my message on it is router link to the playlists. And it's just going to be called back. And this one is save, so it's got the same stuff on it. And we want this one default. Like that. So now when I look at playlists, we have the correct name. And I wonder if I have a Angular material label. So in this one, it's showing the title above, which is your placeholder gets moved up. So we don't need this because when I'm in here, it should, oh, it's not doing it. Why isn't it doing it? Mat form field, placeholder input. Is it because of the outline? Yeah, it's because of the outline. Okay, you have this checkbox, so we're going to look at checkbox for Angular material. So let me look at an example. All they do here is they have this checkbox as a mat checkbox. And this one is going to say is default, like that. And I wonder if we can wrap this in matte form fields and make it prettier. And that won't let me change it. Beautiful. And we also have our two buttons here, so we'll do a div like that. And then I want to do a div with a class equals form group. And I'll put these underneath it. That's already looking a lot better. Let's add a break here. And then I want to add a horizontal line here. And now we need to have our results down here. And that's a different table, right? I have that here for my songs in the table. If I look at my components, here I have add song to playlist. So it looks like I have this duplicated. Well, doesn't seem like I need this at all because it looks like that I do it from here, which looks to be correct. And then above this, I want to have same thing as on the playlist component, this thing, which is above my save playlist, which is going to say maximum number of songs. And that's going to be number of songs, which comes from the number of songs, which is a number which is determined by the this.hubservice.application.user.songcount. Maximum number of songs is 30. And then we'll add a break. Looks good. So we still have to do this search, which is not going to take too long. We already have the core of it here. Oh. And actually, let me go back again, because this is a searching for a song playlist. So we want to leave all that in because we need to add that as another component probably. So this is more like a song search playlist. This is a song search queued. Now when we look at a playlist, we should have our current songs. And then below that is our searching songs. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create a component in here called ngx-toastr called search song playlist. And I need to do a module app. And I'll move that into shared. And in song search playlist, I want to have my CSS, which is this HTML, and this CSS. I'm sorry, this TS. Looks good. So now I can get rid of song playlist. And in my app module, I can get rid of song playlist. And now we want to look for song playlist. We no longer have that. Song playlist component here, it says it doesn't exist, which is okay. We need to add it into the app module. There it is. Good, that's been corrected. And then in your playlist, this is your song search playlist. Search song playlist. And there it is. Search song playlist works. And there it is. We need to have the other one here, ng-generate component called search song request, which is in the module app. Move that to shared. So now song queued component has this HTML. It has this TS, which we can hijack from here. And it needs these from the top. And then I can get rid of my song queued here. And if I look at my room, it's called search song queued, or search song request. And then in my module config, this is a shared. And now if I was to search here, the messages are working, and if I was to search here, my song search is working. So we have two more tables in here to do. The first one was a new component, which I want to call it ng-generate component. And it's called songs playlist. And I need to tell it to put it into the module app. Would you recommend Visual Studio or VS Code? What makes you use VS Code instead of Visual Studio? I use both. I'm using both in this project. My backend is done in ASP.NET Web API Core with SignalR, and then I'm using Angular CLI for the front end. So I'm using Visual Studio Core for the Angular work because they really work well together, and I'm using Visual Studio for the ASP.NET work. Okay, we'll move that one. Look at my app module here. And add in the shared songs playlists. And when I look at a playlist here, I'm going to move this stuff into songs playlists. Okay. When I look at this, it needs to have songs playlist on it, which is from here. Put that in the constructor. With a songs playlist subscription. We need to do a private hub service, which is a hub service. This is a playlist subscription. We need to do a on destroy which does a ng on destroy, where we do the this dot unsubscribe. This is a hub service. You need to have remove song from playlist. And then in this one, you also had a get playlist, which you can do as this. Good. Like that. So on our table, looks good. Songs playlist here, we need to make this a new table. So I'll open this one up. No problem, sad frog dev. And what I want to do here is I want to say we have a table with a data source on it, and then an ng container. We also need to have the end of our table, and then this little bit in case we don't have any results. We can now comment these out. If I look at this one, we're saying that this first thing is called my song name, which is called song name. And when I do this one, it needs to be this. But I'd really like this to be the link to YouTube. Which you can do like this. Okay, and then on my songs playlist, I need to have a displayed columns, which is a string array which passes in my song name and then I also need to have the data source, which is this one, of a song playlist. And then this is this dot data source dot data is equal to this dot songs playlist. And there we go. We got the names with links. And don't take me to the right page. But they almost do. It's because this doesn't exist, element.songid. So this is inside of a song playlist, which has a iSong on it and a YouTube ID. Which works. Okay? So we need to have the rest of the fields in here, which we had a song name, we have a length, which is a song length, which is element. And the last one here is remove from playlist, which doesn't have this. And then we just have this click event on this button. But my button class has changed significantly, and now that looks like this. So we'll move over the click event. We'll have this remove song from playlist, and this will be the element. And we want this to be an accent. Song length and remove song from remove song playlist, which is a song length and remove song playlist. Lovely. Now, I don't think that these are hooked up at the moment. Remove song from playlist, which passes in the element. It's not showing me my columns anymore. So if we said Miley Cyrus and I just looked here and I said add this to the playlist, I guess I deleted the 2 songs that were on it. And we could add some buffer on that by looking at the CSS here. And we have song name and song length. And there they are. We want to add in here a typography songs and playlist. Looks like we could add some spacing there as well, but when we get to it. And I can delete the rest of this table. If I look back at my playlists component here, I should be passing in now this song search playlist. Which needs to have the new table in it, right? But before I do this, I want to add in one of these, which is going to be called search and add song to playlist. And then also in my playlist HTML here, I want to add a HR here. And there we go. Now we can see my current songs and playlist. But we don't have that with a pagination. So to do that, if I look at my Q component here, we need to add in this paginator at the end of the table. Right there. And then I need to look at the TypeScript, and we need to have one of these view children for the paginator. And then also I need to assign it in the init. And now I should have a paginator, but it's not connected. Metadata isong queued is your paginator of your paginator. And I think it just needs to be directly below the table. We don't have Bootstrap in this project, so I can clear out the row. Still doesn't look connected to me. Because we can't have this ngif. Hey, now it's working. We want to add pagination into this, but we can do that in a little bit. Not pagination, we can add sorting. But the next step was the other container, which is my song search request. Which is still using a table. And old properties. When we complete that, we have currencies, and then account, and then our cart. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to lunch. I'll be back in an hour and a half. So let's say an hour and 50 minutes. So I'll be back at 3 p.m. So that's just in an hour 50. And we'll pick this up. We should be able to finish our formatting today. With any luck, I think we'll be able to push this thing out to beta testing, or at least to in-house testing. We're definitely on track to have this whole project completed within 14 days, although I wanted to have it up and online before the end of the day today, but we're still possible to get there. So thanks for staying with me. I will see you guys in just a few hours, and I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Alrighty, see ya. Bye, guys.